Hey friends, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I'm Brett and let's get geeky. Star Wars The Last Jedi just came out, and disclaimer, I am not a Star Wars fan. I've appreciated and admired the movies more than I've enjoyed them, but there has been so much buzz and backlash over the latest installment that I knew that I had to rush out and see it this weekend, and I just wanted to see what everyone had been so riled up about, specifically the fanboys that are just going nuts and clobbering this thing like a poor creature. Here is my unfiltered and completely unbiased review of the film. Forewarning that as I'm describing what this movie's about, and I'm trying to avoid spoilers as much as possible, as a non-Star Wars fan, I might be describing things incorrectly. I know that I'm not the expert on these things. If I say something incorrectly, bear with me for a bit. So Star Wars Episode VIII, The Last Jedi, has three sort of plot lines that cohere into one. The first one, we follow Rey as she finally meets up with Luke Skywalker and tries to convince him to help her hone her skills as a Jedi, as well as help the Resistance. Then in the second storyline, we are following the Resistance, mostly Princess Leia and Poe, as they are plotting their attacks against the First Order. The third storyline is Finn and this new character named Rose, as they have this side quest that is going to help the rest of the First Order with their adventures through space. Here's what I will say. It is a big, fat bop. I was completely blown away. I think the reason why a lot of Star Wars diehard fans are not enjoying this movie is because Episode VIII does not feel exactly like a traditional Star Wars film. For certain people, they were sort of bothered by the pace and the flow, but I liked that this film to me felt very action-packed and it moved really well. A lot of people are complaining about the 2.5 hour runtime. It's because I knew that already ahead of time. I did not really mind the pace of it. I don't want to get into spoiler town here, but some of you guys may have heard that this film does really surprising things with traditional Star Wars elements. We get to see the Force in ways that we have never seen. The Force is used in incredibly interesting ways that I was not expecting, that are quite odd and very bold to reformulate sort of this traditional classic Star Wars element. And I just give kudos to Rian Johnson for being able to pull this off. He wrote and directed this film in such a unique way by taking big risks. A couple of things that I think Rian Johnson does that's interesting about this script. This film has a lot more humor than I was expecting. Orcs, those are the new critters. Disney merchandising, come on, they are adorable and they are hilarious, and I loved the integration of them with Chewbacca. In the beginning of the film, there's this moment with Domhnall Gleeson that was really shticky, and I was surprised that they started off with a joke that early on, but it totally works. And yeah, it was just the right amount of humor, especially to counteract the darkness. And that's another thing that Rian Johnson does really well, is he captures why the dark side is appealing. We get eerie moments with Rey as she is honing her skills as a Jedi and she gets pulled towards the dark side. There's a moment with Rey in this cave, very artsy and avant-garde, very abstract. Overall, this is probably the most gorgeous Star Wars movie I've ever seen. It is breathtaking with just the images, the landscapes. The use of reds and blues are so cool. Of the Jedi fight scenes towards the end with the lightsabers are among the best action scenes I have seen this year, as well as in the whole entire Star Wars universe. He chooses these really interesting wide shots and frames, and hand in hand with the pacing, he knows when to hold on these images so that we could just take in and absorb these moments of beauty and awe that remind us why Star Wars is so visually dynamic and engaging and amazing in the first place. One of the last things I will say about what Johnson does well is the character arcs and development is so exciting and mesmerizing and fully fleshed out. One of my qualms with Star Wars in the past is that I didn't really care about the characters that much. I feel like this film, wow, I care about where these characters are going. I care about who lives and who dies. I will say the female characters, Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, there's just a added sense of weight to this film now that she is gone, but she gives one of her best performances and it's just so lovely, and what a commanding screen presence. The addition of Laura Dern's character, beautifully feminist and really rich. It gives the women a lot to do. It gives them a lot of power, presence, and command, and I loved and admired Johnson for making leaps. The performances are amazing. Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, absolutely wonderful, and all of the technical prowess that you would expect of a Star Wars film is here. Aside from a little bit of lagging in the middle of the movie, I loved Episode 8. This was by far my favorite Star Wars movie. I cannot believe that I have become a convert from a mild hater to someone who is excited for the future of the franchise. This is one of the best blockbusters of the year. Basically why I made this movie is to sort of convince the people that were in my band camp that never liked Star Wars, give this movie a chance because it is exciting and rich and dark and adult and wonderful on so many levels. I give it a 9 out of 10. Now, I would love to hear from you guys. What did you think of Star Wars? If you are a diehard fan, did you feel that Episode 8 is it the best since Empire? Or is it one of the worst of all time? And if you are a non-Star Wars fan and you saw this one, what did you think of it? Did it surprise you as much as it surprised me? Thank you so much for watching, you guys. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more. This week I'm going to an early screening of The Phantom Thread, P.T. Anderson's new movie with Daniel Day-Lewis, and I cannot wait to see it. If you want an early review of that film, that is going to be coming up later in the week. Thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I'll see you at the movies.